Hello everybody, your girl Marina here. I'm wishing you all a happy new year, and I'm back for a new video. In this video I'll be showing you the books that I've enjoyed the most last year, knowing that I'm not going to introduce them to you in a particular order, just taking them from the stack that I placed on my side. Last year, Goodreads indicate that I read 79 books, and I was happily surprised because I had planned in the beginning of the year of reading only 20 of them, and I went past the 20. I didn't want to pick only 10 books, so what I decided to do is to show you in this English video my favorite reads in English, and I'll probably make another video in French with the books that I've read in French that I really enjoyed last year. So without further ado, let's get to it because I don't want... The first book I'm going to show you is this one. It's a play by what is his name? August Wilson. Okay, the play is My Renee's Black Bottom. What I really loved about this play was the ending. The ending of this play was just wow to me. Given the title of the play, we wait for Ma Renee to show up, and she doesn't come that easily, so quick in the play. So we get to know all the characters, and we see many things prior to her coming. But when she shows up, she doesn't disappoint. She's really a very charismatic kind of person, and she doesn't take anybody's bullshit. And she comes with her girlfriend and so many things. She comes, she does a show, she leaves, and when she leaves, things continue, and the climax is really the ending. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it, but I highly recommend this one. And I will keep reading all the August Wilson plays because I'm reading them in the order, and I've read already 4 of them. So this year I will try to read the rest. This one also was one of my favorite read of last year, The Purple Violet of Ashantu by Nishani Andreas. It deals with domestic abuse in Namibia, I think it is, and the story of this woman, the main character, is told by her best friend, her neighbor. She tells us everything that the main character goes through, how her husband neglect her, etc. It also tackles the HIV spreading in the country and how people in the village always linked the HIV sickness to witchcraft and stuff like that. So yes, I highly recommend. I gave it only 4 stars, but the fact that the story still lingers, I still remember it and still loves it at the end of the year, I feel like this one here deserves to be known or to be talked about. The title is The Purple Violet of Ashantu by Nishani Andreas. This one here is Muriel at Metropolitan by Mama Miriam Tlali, South African writer, first black woman to be published in South Africa. It was written during the apartheid era South Africa, and the story itself takes place during that period. What I loved about this book is the didactical way it was done. She doesn't, the writer, she doesn't tell us what to love or what to hate. She just shows us the stuff. Just like Miriam Ba, for those of you who have read So Long a Later, she doesn't tell you how to feel. She just put it out there for everybody to come with their own analysis and the conclusion. What I loved also is the fact that she gives us names and you know, many details concerning our co-workers. But when it comes to her family, all that we know is that she has a husband. The husband is just that, the husband. The son also is just the son. So she kept her privacy to herself, but she gives it all the details of what she goes through, the daily humiliation, the disregard, the disrespect, because among the workers in that society she works in, she's the only one who really went to school and got the degrees and etc. So she got the degrees and the education, but her colleagues are white. The only diploma, the only degree they have is the whiteness of their skin. They do not know that much, but yeah, they're white, so they get the job and they're better paid, and they disregard and disrespect her. I highly recommend this one for anybody who wants to know how hard it was for somebody living in, for a black woman, a dark skin at it, living in apartheid South Africa, and it's up to you to analyze, and I really appreciated this book. Another one of my favorite reads is These Bones Will Rise by Panashishi Gomazi. She is from Zimbabwe. This one here is not a novel per se. It's not even an essay. It's like a journal that she wrote regarding the changes in Zimbabwean political life. And what I really loved is that she underlined the fact that women, you know, women in the revolution has been erased in the retelling of the Zimbabwean history, like Nyanda. The only time I heard about Nyanda was by another Zimbabwean author, I can't remember her name, who wrote a novel titled Nyanda. But nobody in history books or in the books I've read so far took the time out to show how important the women were in Zimbabwean revolution, from the days of Rhodesia to the independence and the creation of the nation of Zimbabwe. So this one here is really a must read. I gave it 5 stars on Goodread, and it's a short read. It's very dense and it's clear and it's pleasing to read. Like, even if English is not your mother tongue, you understand everything. The writing in itself was really good. The Polygamist by Sunyati, my first time reading her, and I highly recommend this book. It's a different take on polygamy, and I must say I really still hate the main character, the main here, Mr. Gomorrah. Yes, with a name like that, what could we expect from him? The disappointment to me was, like, even when the karma hits him, I felt like it wasn't hard enough. It didn't really hit him. I wanted him to suffer. Yeah, I want him to really suffer, as if he didn't suffer enough. But I will recommend this one to anybody who read Baba Segi or anything regarding polygamy and who wants to have another point of view on the subject. I really like this one. It was funny at time, and it was really serious, and it also tackles the spreading of HIV in Zimbabwe. This one here, Julius Lester, Day of Tears. I didn't even know it was a play. I thought that it was just a regular novel. I read it in just one day, going to work, and for my, you know, on my way back on the bus, the book was already over. I love the friendship between the master's daughter and the slave daughter. We are introduced to both families. The owner of the slave is a gambler, so he lost so much money that he was forced to sell his slaves to repay the people he owed money to, and so from that moment we are told the story. I'm not going to tell you much more than that. It reads like a play. It's a play actually, and it's beautifully told. What I love about Julius Lester is that even when it tackles very harsh problems regarding race relations, you don't leave his books being bitter. You feel good about the situation. I mean, not about the situation, but hatred is nowhere to be seen in the book. So it just shows you things. I love when people do that. You're not mad at anybody in the street, because some books does that to me. I read a book and when I see somebody in the street, I'm like, yeah, that's the son of the master who did this to that. Now, I don't feel that when I read this writer, and I might be reading more of him this year as well, because I have many books by this author waiting on my shelf. Oh, do I need to tell you anything about this one here? I read this book, listened to it, read it while I was listening to it, etc. I gave it 5 stars on Goodread, and I'm still waiting to for the day Trevor Noah is going to write his memoir, because to me this one here was just a tribute to his mother, and I love his mother. Yeah, but I highly recommend this one. This book gave me life. This one here is the least selfish autobiography I've ever read in my life. I mean, this woman, Mama Ellen Kuswayo, she tells us everything about her life, her childhood, everything, but she managed, what I loved the most, what she manages to shine the light on many other South African women who did very important and significant things during apartheid South Africa. She talks about things, she introduced you to people that I didn't even know had existed and did those great deeds, you know, in the times of apartheid. And when you know about her own personal life, you're like, oh my God, she lived 10 lives in one. She was an actress and she played along Sidney Poitier in a movie. She went to the nursing school with Winfred Madizikela, who later became Mama Winnie Mandela. She knew personally Steve Bantu Biko's parents, and this is the very first time I read a book where Steve Biko was described as a human being, not just as a hero or, you know, the martyr. No, he was somebody's baby, and you see the grieving of the parents, and then you realize that yes, he was murdered, and there were grieving parents somewhere because they lost their child. Not just we see Steve Biko as a hero, as somebody who did something revolutionary, and sometimes you know there's a distance between us and heroes because they're just role models, etc. But nobody takes the time out to introduce us to their families and how they grieved and what they went through when they lost their babies. She does that with her book, and she does so many other things, so I highly recommend this book. It's only 300 pages, but when you read it, you take your time. You don't rush in it. You take your time and you enjoy everything that she has to share. Really, take your time, enjoy it, and I cannot say much. Just grab a copy and read this book. It is so good, so informative. Actually, so informative. I loved it. I really loved this book. Ha! The Yearning by Moukhali Mashiho. My gosh, this was if I could say love at first read, this will be one. I so loved this one. I appreciated every detail, the way that she paid tribute to the Bantu tradition, the way she tells the story. In the beginning, it reads like a science fiction novel, which it is not at all, because the more you get into the story, the more clearer it becomes, the more realistic it becomes. I know that some of you will say, oh, it's like magical realism, and I don't understand what magical realism it is, because I was born and raised in Africa, and to us these stories are our reality. Like, I don't know how to explain this to you, but you gotta read this book. I just love her storytelling. I love her writing. I love how she used the language to tell the story. And this is Africa being told to anybody who do not know what goes on in our families or in our cultures. I don't know how to explain this one to you. All I can say is grab it and read it. I love the relationship between Marubini, the main character, and her little brother, Simpiwe, and also with the family. Even if at the beginning I wasn't feeling it, I wasn't understanding the relationship between Marubini and her mama, but by the end of the book you understand that everybody in the family was rooting for her from the beginning. I loved everything about this book, so I highly recommend. I gave it 5 stars. I give this book 5 stars, and I can't wait to read a collection of short story. Even if I'm not really a short story lover, I'm gonna read because I bought it. This one was very good, and I didn't see anybody on BookTube talking about this book, Moukhali Mashiho, The Yearning. You should give this book a try. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. It's very good, especially if you love science fiction, if you love magical realism, but not too much, because as I said, it reads like it in the beginning, but at the end you realize that it is not. It's just a natural story, but told à l'africaine, you know, the African way, the Bantu way. That's why it was kind of mystical in the beginning. But read it. I dare you, read this book. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Even if it's not a 5-star read, you will not regret spending time reading this one here. Do I need to tell you anything about Nuego and the joys of motherhood? Do I? If you don't know Bushi Emesheta, darlings, you should start. You should start reading her. She's one of my favorite Nigerian writers. And last year I was on a Nigerian reading ban, kind of. I decided that I wasn't going to read more than 10 Nigerian writers, because for the past years I had been reading exclusively Nigerian writer, and I didn't even know it. I realized it only when I took the Kinari challenge. I realized that, yeah, in the past I was reading Flora Nwapa, Ekwensi, or Emesheta, but I wasn't reading any other African writers. So I decided to read only 10 Nigerian writers, and she was, of course, part of the 10 I read, and I recommend this book because it is very interesting. Anyways, read this book. Read this one. The Joys of Motherhood by Bushi Emesheta, Nigeria. Okay, no year without this woman. Bernice Macfadyen. If you don't know about her, well, I will be making a video. If I keep coming here regularly, I will make a video about this woman. There's nobody I know who I recommended this author to, whoever came to me to say, oh, I'm so disappointed. All of them are blessing me, thanking me, and I feel like, oh, I feel like you know, a good person, because everybody come back to me and say, how come you didn't tell me about her sooner? The other one who cannot read in English are like, yeah, you should find somebody to translate, because we've been hearing about her a lot. And I'm talking about Bernice Macfadyen. This woman is a genius. I love her storytelling. I don't care if the book is not a 5-star read. Just reading her is a pleasure. You know, this one was a 5-star read for me. It might not be for you, but I highly recommend it to you. Of course, all the books I'm showing you, I highly recommend to you because I really, really love them. Even if I didn't give them 5 stars, those are great, great books, because I have my reason for not giving 5 stars to every book I loved, but I'm sure you're going to appreciate, and they deserve to be seen and heard and read, etc. At the beginning of the year, this was one of my reads. The title of the book is Miss Ophelia, and it was written by Mary Burnett Smith. 5-star read, coming of age. It tells the story of Isabella. Everybody call her Bella. And she's very young. She has a friend who's 2 years older, I guess. That friend has planned to teach her how to swim during the summertime, but come summer, a friend has to go elsewhere, and the reason being is she got pregnant. She's young, but she got pregnant, and her mama doesn't want the news to be spread in the village where they live. So Isabella is asked to go to her auntie, and she doesn't love that auntie for many different reasons that you will find reading this book. I love this novel because it deals with so many things. It deals with illiteracy, it deals with colorism, it deals with segregation and the struggle to raise a child by yourself as a single mom. Isabella is raised by her mother and her uncle of mother's brother, and she's an avid reader, but they don't have money enough for her to you know, to be providing books for her, etc. But they will find a solution. You need to read this book, Mary Burnett Smith, okay? And Miss Ophelia. This one was very, very good. Very, very good. I highly recommend it to you. Miss Ophelia, Mary Burnett Smith. Mary Burnett. After reading that book, I read this one. In this one, Friday Night at Honeybees by Andrea Smith, you also have one of the characters whose name is Isabella. This also deals with music, but it deals, it is different. It is not a coming of age. It's about 2 women, 2 grown-ups, who come from different background. One of the characters comes from a very Christian family where her father is a preacher, and the other one, I think she's the one who's drawn here. No, her name is Forestine. Forestine is a dark, very dark, or dark blue black woman. She's tall, she's strong, she's stubborn also, and kind of selfish also. Yeah, she's selfish. And you're going to see how their friendship is going to help them through many things. What I loved is that we traveled through the 15, I guess, in the blues era, and music is really there. You can sense it, you can hear it, you can see the music, feel it. Really, the character construction was very rich and very interesting. There are many layers to this story, and in spite the selfishness of Forestine, I really loved her character. At the end of the day, I was like, okay, I understand her. And when you have a passion and you're willing to do everything to make your dream come true, sometimes you lose many things on your way to, you know, your destiny. So yeah, I highly recommend this book. And so if you have the chance to grab a copy, please do yourself a favor. Do it. Read it. This one here. Okay, everybody, the mama, the dog, and the neighbor talked about this book already, so I don't need to tell you what the book is about. It is Stay With Me by Ayobami Adebayo. Do I need to tell you more about this book? No. If you search on BookTube, you will see somebody. Maybe Didi talked about this book. Maybe Peta from Comfy Cozy Up. Somebody, anybody talked about this book, and this book is really, really good. And I feel like she was kind of cheated. She deserved more with this book. And yeah, I just highly recommend it to you if you haven't yet grabbed a copy of this book and read it. Yeah. So voila, these were my favorite reads of 2018 in English, and I'll be coming back to you maybe with another video of my favorite reads in 2018 in French. Till then, remain blessed. See you next time. Bye bye.